Good afternoon, everybody. This is Swedish Jeff 2024. I would just like to say Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. I hope that everyone is enjoying their weekend thus far. Today, on episode 4 of Behind the Card, we will be spotlighting Bert Jones. Bert Jones is going to be our topic, and I am looking from the Professional Football Researchers Association page. This article was written by Matt Ketty. Bertram Hayes Jones was born on September 7, 1951, achieved a rare feat during his playing days. He was on top of the NFL. Joe Namath, legendary Super Bowl III MVP, commented on Jones's success. "If you asked me to pick the number one quarterback in the league, I'd pick Bert Jones. Who else?" Jones led the Baltimore Colts to 3 consecutive AFC East titles from 1975 to 1977, in the midst of his 1976 MVP caliber season. In that span, Jones was 31-11 as a starter. His Colts won more than 30 games in a 3-year stretch for the first time in nearly a decade. Do you blame Namath? Another advocate for Jones was Bill Belichick, who worked as a scout for the team in 1975 and witnessed firsthand the type of player Jones was. Bert Jones was a tremendous player. Very athletic. He had an arm like no other, really. The kind of whip and accuracy. He had a quick delivery. He was a tremendous quarterback in an era that was a little bit different. But if he played today and was healthy, we'd all say, this guy is really good. Speaking of his arm, growing up, Jones earned the nickname the Ruston Rifle at Ruston High School in Louisiana. Rumor had it that he could throw the ball over 100 yards in the air. Jones took his talents to LSU, where he earned a distinguished career under center. LSU won the 1970 SEC championship and played in 3 bowls under Jones. He was the MVP of the 1971 Sun Bowl, etching his name in school history when he threw the longest pass in school history at 77 yards. Jones was an All-SEC selection in 1972 when he became the first LSU quarterback to earn consensus All-American. Embracing the success, LSU went 26-6-1 during his years at the school. Jones may have been most revered for his last-second pass in a 1972 game against Ole Miss. With time running out, he hit back Brad Davis for the winning score, a 17-16 victory that extended the team's winning streak to 11 games. In the 1972 Heisman Trophy balloting, Jones finished 4th and was named the National Collegiate Player of the Year by the Sporting News. On his way to the NFL, Jones led the SEC in passing during his junior and senior seasons, setting school records in passing yards, completions, attempts, and passing touchdowns. NFL ready at 6'3" and 210 pounds, Jones left a beloved reputation at LSU. He is considered by many fans, alumni, and media to be arguably the greatest quarterback in school history due to his success and record-setting career. The success propelled him to be the 2nd overall selection in the 1973 NFL Draft by the Baltimore Colts. Jones was under a lot of pressure after he was drafted to replace Johnny Unitas, who was traded to the San Diego Chargers prior to the draft. Jones was the proper fit, according to former NFL executive Ernie Accorsi. He had it all: athletic, accurate, had a rifle for an arm, and not only could run, but was fast and powerful. He was smart, too, and could see the field and find the right receiver. He excelled under pressure, was a great leader, and could carry a team on his back. Teddy, then Coach Ted Marchibroda, did a great job with him in '75. It took Jones a couple of years to gel, starting just 13 games in his first 2 seasons. Jones then found his groove, leading the league in lowest interception rate, 2.3%, in 1975, while completing 59% of his passes. He led the league in passing during his monumental 1976 campaign, throwing for 3,104 yards, which was unheard of in a mostly run-oriented league. The Colts lost in the playoffs to the Pittsburgh Steelers for the 2nd consecutive postseason. Despite the loss, Jones led the Colts to an 11-3 mark, won the AP Offensive Player of the Year award, and was both a Pro Bowl and first-team All-Pro selection. Baltimore was the top-ranked offense in both points scored and in yards gained. His 102.6 passer rating marked Jones as just the third quarterback to eclipse a 100 rating for the decade. Jones followed up his masterful campaign with a solid 1977 season. The Colts went 10-4, boasted a top 10 offense, however lost 3 of their final 4 contests to limp into the playoffs. Jones was named second team All-Pro by the Associated Press and Newspaper Enterprise Association, and second team All-AFC. Colts met the Raiders in the postseason, losing in heartbreaking fashion on December 24, 1977 at Memorial Stadium in Baltimore. Leading 31-28 with less than 3 minutes to play, the Colts failed to hold the lead when Ken Stabler hit Dave Casper at the Baltimore 14-yard line that set up the tying field goal. The first overtime was scoreless, but just 43 seconds into the second, Stabler found Casper again on a 10-yard score that ended the game 37-31 in favor of Oakland. It became known as the Ghost to the Post game because of the deep post routes Casper ran for several critical plays throughout the game. August 26, 1978 marked a pivotal juncture in Jones's career. On a hit from Al Baker in a preseason contest, he suffered a separated shoulder that ended up limiting his playing time over the next 2 seasons. Starting just 3 games in 1978 and 4 in 1979, Jones attempted to return from injury too quickly. He played 15 games each in 1980 and 1981, throwing 23 and 20 touchdowns respectively, but his interception numbers nearly equaled his touchdown output. At the time, the Colts lacked a supporting cast. Any offensive success was offset by poor defensive performance, and the Colts were in need of a large rebuild. In April 1982, Jones was traded to the Los Angeles Rams in exchange for first and second round draft choices. He made 4 starts, tallying a 1-3 record before a severe neck injury effectively ended his career. He required cervical fusion surgery to repair a fractured vertebra. At the time, Jones was 31, had a family, and was an entrepreneur. He recollected, there aren't any happy endings in the NFL. I certainly wish I hadn't broken my neck. That's 5, 6, 7 years cut short, and with the rule changes, who knows how long I could have played. His career spanned 9 seasons, 96 starts with a 47-49 career record, 18,190 passing yards, 124 touchdowns against 101 interceptions. Among his all-conference and all-pro selections, Jones was also the recipient of the George S. Halas Courage Award in 1979, inductee into the College Football Hall of Fame in 2016, and a member of the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame in 1986. Football was a mainstay in the family growing up. Jones's father, Dub Jones, was a receiver for the Cleveland Browns from 1948 to 1955, Brooklyn Dodgers from 1946 to 1947, and Miami Seahawks in 1946. He also worked for the Browns as a coach from 1963 to 1968. Bert always found a way onto the football field. Looking back on his career, when I look back on the whole experience, I have fond memories. There's not a lot of remorse. He also credits many of his teammates for his MVP season in 1976, particularly Roger Carr, Glenn Doughty, and Liddell Mitchell. Bert Jones is someone that I was trying to find the modern equivalent to, a quarterback who is multi-talented and would easily be considered one of the top 5 in the NFL, who just was on a team that was not very good. And unfortunately for Bert Jones, towards the end of his career in Baltimore, a lot of those teams were really bad, although he was considered one of the best quarterbacks. And playing APA football here, looking at his card, I couldn't help but wonder, even though he's rated a 3, which is about average, not bad, I was wondering what would happen if we put Bert Jones on another team like, say, the Oakland Raiders. Now, they had Jim Plunkett, they had Mark Wilson, but what if you put Bert Jones on a team that had a great defense or a very good defense and an offensive line that was able to protect him from getting hurt? How would he have done? I think that he would have done a lot better and his career could have been prolonged, but we'll never know the answer to that question. When Bill Belichick compliments Bert Jones and says that would have been one of the best and was one of the best passers that he ever saw, I definitely think that's a compliment. And it's a shame that we don't hear more about Bert Jones. And something else that occurred to me is one of the shows that I really like watching on the NFL Network is A Football Life. And I understand that the majority of the episodes deal with guys that are in the Hall of Fame, coaches, players, executives, owners, and they focus the majority of their episodes on those guys. But what about the players that are not Hall of Famers that we don't really know much about, like Bert Jones, Joe Delaney, and others? I got to give ESPN this. When they used to have their Sports Century show, they would actually do episodes about players and coaches that were not Hall of Famers or maybe near Hall of Famers that you never knew about that you would actually learn from. And unfortunately, that's not the case nowadays. And if I can say anything positive about ESPN, especially considering where that network is now, you know that they could definitely show some improvements with the NFL Network. I think that it would be good if they focused more on the lesser known players and the guys that a lot of people don't know about. I will guarantee you that there are a lot of people that don't know who Bert Jones is, and that's sad. Maybe he wasn't a Hall of Famer. Maybe he could have been a Hall of Famer, but he still had an NFL career and a very good, if not great one. And I think that guys like Bert Jones and Joe Delaney and others should have their stories told. And hopefully that's what I can do here along with the baseball players, is to tell their stories and shine the light on them and give them the attention and the respect that they truly deserve. I hope that you've enjoyed this episode. I hope that you've enjoyed the previous ones. Have a happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. I'll see you soon.